One other thing I should mention is it's good for new leads, right? Kind of like what we touched on, people looking for real estate agent near me, that type of thing. But then what not everyone always thinks about, it's actually really good too if someone is kind of who knows who you are but wants more information. So then they go and Google your
Mm.
name, and what is going to pop up in the most cases? It's your profile. So if you have a profile that has a ton of reviews, 5-star reviews, high reviews, photos, all that kind of stuff filled out, they're much more likely to want to work with you.
All right, folks, we're back. I've got a really good interview for you guys today. We have a returning guest, Philip Pasma from Asterisk Marketing. The
Hello,
last
hello.
time he was here, well, welcome, Philip. The last time he was here, it was talking a lot about, organic SEO and how to have success with Google and a bunch of really awesome topics. You should check that one out. But today, he is back talking about something people ask me about all the time. How can they get their Google business profile, formerly known as Google My Business, right? My business, listing on Google, organic listing on Google. Now it's Google Business Profile. How can I take my business profile to the next level on Google and get more deals organically through the search engine? People ask me about that all the time. I kind of know nothing about it. So I said, hey, Philip, why don't we, bring people on here, and we have a special offer for folks, a freebie, a really awesome freebie for those that stick around until the end. Really, really, Philip's gracious enough to help us out because I asked him to help out my audience improve their Google business profile. So we'll be doing a really good giveaway at the end of the talk. But Philip, why don't you remind people who you are, a little bit of your babackground, like,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
sure.
30-second intro, and why is Google business profile so awesome for real estate?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, my name is Philip Hazema, and as Gus said, I run a company called Asterisk Marketing, and we help real estate agents with their marketing, mainly through lead generation. One of our biggest services, pay-per-click, but then something that is getting much more popular is these Google business profiles, the optimization of it, the ongoing management, everything that's involved in it. And the reason why people really seem to enjoy the Google business is because of the lead quality that they're getting. It's these people that are going to Google and typing in real estate agent near me or Dallas real estate agent. They go, obviously, you got the local service ads, which definitely recommend doing because it's a pay per lead program. But then below that, you kind of have those map pack, and that's organic. You're not paying for those leads that come in like the local service ads or with pay per click. And again, it can be very, very high quality. These people want to have a conversation with you about buying or selling. And yeah, it's just a really good opportunity. It's organic, so it's hard to scale, right? We were just talking about this, but it's certainly something that you want to add in your marketing repertoire bundle, so that you can, yeah, try to get those leads.
Yeah, 100%. It's one of those things, Phil, that I think it's like having a website, right? And
Oh,
I
it's
don't know.
standard practice. It
Yeah,
should be.
everyone should have one of those things. And even, I don't know if this is popular, up in Canada or not, but here in Mexico, a lot of companies don't even have a website anymore. They just have like a Google page, right? So they have some kind of web presence, a business listing, right? Google business page is kind of like Facebook business page is kind of like a Google business page too, except that the Google business page can get like 100 times more traffic, right? Because how many times, and people will search social media for businesses and recommendations for sure. But me personally, I can tell you that if I'm looking for, I don't know, like a bakery or a coffee shop, especially if I'm in a part of town or in a city that I'm not familiar with, I'll open up Google Maps and ask it, like, how do I get some really good tacos in this part of town, right? These kinds of tacos, and I will, I will literally see the organic listings popping up, and I go, okay, this one looks good, this one doesn't look good, and I use it for a bunch of different things, right? Bunch of different things that I'm looking for. I now use, I don't know if this is common or not, because you can just use the regular search engine. I open up Maps, Google Maps, and I will ask
Okay.
it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
serve me up some suggestions for whatever I'm looking for in that moment. And that is a purchasing activity. I'm not browsing, Google Maps to see what
No,
great
it's very
taco
direct.
shops are around. I'm like literally saying, How can so the comment you made about really good lead quality, like I get that because I'm only looking for local businesses
Oh
if
yeah.
I'm in a purchasing mode, if I'm a transactor or very close to being a transactor. So tell us, Phil. Okay, so I'm sold. That is a really good lead source. People on there are transacting. How, as real estate agents, what should be, or how do we stand out, right? How do we approach that and make it enticing, titillating for that potential lead to choose us over the other three people or four people that pop up in that search?
Yeah, yeah. And before I get into that, one other thing I should mention is it's good for new leads, right? Kind of like what we touched on, people looking for real estate agent near me, that type of thing. But then what not everyone always thinks about, it's actually really good too if someone is kind of who knows who you are, but wants more information. So then they go and
Mm-hmm.
Google your name, and what is going to pop up in the most cases, it's your profile. So if you have a profile that has a ton of reviews, 5-star reviews, high reviews, photos, all that kind of stuff filled out, they're much more likely to want to work with you, right?
I
Say you're
love
running
that.
Facebook
I
ads,
love that.
pay per click, and then someone starts texting you, right? So you start texting me because I just went on your website. I'm going to be like, okay, who's
Love
this
that.
Gus guy? I'm going to Google you. And that can help with having that conversation and me actually wanting to talk to you or not. So
I
I think
love
that's an
that.
important
I
part
love
that people
that.
don't always realize.
Yeah, because
Um,
actually, funny, we were just talking about right before this that a lot of people, even though they might discover me through many different channels, the number one attribution, a self-attributed, source for all my leads is Google, and I'm
yeah,
like, wait, what? So, but that's where they go to vet me. That's where they go to find out. Hey, I saw this guy's name on YouTube or Reddit or Facebook or this, but they go to Google to see if I'm a real person, right? They go to Google to find out like a little bit more about me. Like, oh, I see, I see. And maybe at some point it'll be ChatGPT. I don't know. But people want some authoritative source to go, who is this guy? Oh, I see who this guy is. Oh, interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, let me go. And when I ask them, hey, how'd you find out about me? It was Google. I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. So, but that scenario, I see
yeah,
it ring true every day. People will wanna, they want it the cosign, right? They want Google to vet me and say, okay, this guy looks like a real person. It's not a scam. It's not some unknown person. This person looks legit. They look legit. They have a digital footprint and they put some effort into it. So they're probably a legitimate business person.
yeah, totally. It really really helps with that. And to answer your other question about how can you stand out? So I can do a screen share? Yeah, do I have the
Oh,
capabilities?
let me
Oh,
make
I think
sure
you
I
need to
enable
enable it.
that. Give me one second. There we
It's
go. Now it's done. It's done.
Yeah, yeah. It's probably a little bit easier for me to show a really good profile and kind of walk through it versus just talking about it. So, is this good?
I
We
see it now. Yes,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
yes.
So we can talk about different strategies too that maybe this company doesn't do. But one of the biggest things is having a profile that is 100% complete, which you'd be surprised not a lot of profiles have that, right? Just filling out as much information as you can. Um, Specifically, what we see a lot too is where people don't have an address, and that can really hinder
That is the
your,
number one question I get. I'm glad you touched on that because
yeah,
people will go, do I put my home address? Do I put my brokerage address? Do I select service area? I'd love to get you at that was one of my questions for today. I'm saying, Phil, what because I'll be honest with you guys, just full disclosure. I don't have a Google business profile for PowerEye. Maybe I should, but since I'm not
you
like a
should,
local
yeah.
service provider to a specific area, I selfishly I'd love to know an answer to that question because I have my LLC registered agent address, like from my legal address. Well, I got that, but that's not really my place of business technically, right? So selfishly, I'd love to know the answer. What's the right strategy for your address? Because that one, I get a lot of questions about that one specifically. Because agents like, is my address my home? Is my address my brokerage? Is my
Yeah.
address the McDonald's where I meet people for to sign paperwork? Or sorry, not McDonald's, Starbucks. And what's the right one?
Yeah, yeah. We always push or recommend that people have a physical address, whether that be their home which like I had when I started out, and everyone's like, I don't want people visiting me. It's not going to happen. It's very unlikely, right? Um, very, very unlikely. And then obviously, if they have an office that they can use, or potentially you could do a co-working space as well. But like the address is like it's proximity, right? Based to where your address is. And if you don't have an address, how can they be proximity to nothing, right? So it's like there is that service area and you can still show up. But if I'm right beside your building, or it's great if you actually want to target people in your neighborhood, right? And
Yeah,
you have a home address
those
and they
are the
type
best.
in, hopefully they all know you anyways, as a real estate agent, but maybe they don't. And they type in real estate agent near me, you have a higher probability of showing up because your address is so close, even
Got it.
though your account may not be optimized, or maybe you don't have as many reviews or whatever.
So Philip, you're saying you should be strategic about this, like, because if if you happen to live outside of your ideal coverage area, but your office is, use the office. And
Yeah,
if the opposite is true, use your home. So you should be, if possible, be strategic about which address you use, right?
yeah, yeah. So ideally, you're in the location of where you want to work the most, the city, right? So I know a lot of people maybe live in not a place that they want to work, per se, or maybe that's not their target market, but can they then find an address or office in that city? And some companies will go as far as having multiple addresses throughout, right? So throughout the surrounding cities so that they can have a better chance of showing up. The only thing is you're obviously spreading out your wealth, right? In terms of like reviews and stuff like that. It's easier to focus
Yes.
on one than on three. But if you get to that point, then yeah, that's a really good strategy that not many people do.
I love that. I love it. So address, that was one of my questions. But right off the bat, here on the above the fold here for this business listing, the pictures look good. I got pictures. I mean, pictures are huge, right?
Yeah, yeah. So that's a thing too, right? You want to upload as many photos as possible that's relevant to your business, right? So that's team photos if you have a team, that's your office, that's listings, that's photos with clients, uh, any staged photos, obviously photos of yourself, it can be part of it. So you can kind of click in here too and kind of see all of the different photos. You can do stage photos, like I said, um, different events that you do. You just want to keep, anytime you have an opportunity to upload a photo that's relevant, don't just upload for the sake of uploading, but you should have a fair amount if you're a fairly active real estate agent. And it's not like all of these, like a lot of these things you'll look up and you'll be like, these are not technically a ranking factor, but I believe it's like a combination of all of these things, right? There's obviously some pretty big ones like category, like what category you are. Are you a real estate agent? Are you a real estate agent company? I believe is the other one. That has quite a bit of influence. Number of reviews is part
Yeah.
of that.
That
But
that
then
that
some of this
as a
other stuff.
consumer, that reviews, that's huge, man. Like how many 5-star reviews? I start to see 4.25. That just seems super super
So
trustworthy. Even though that's a ridiculous statement, right? Oh, it's only 4-star service. But as a consumer, like, why is one of those stars white? Why don't I see 5 gold stars? There's got to be something wrong with this business, right?
yeah, yeah, I've actually heard a take on that where it's like the most optimal rating is like, I think it's like 4.7, because all fives they start to think it's fake.
Yeah, 100%.
Whereas
Oh,
you
that's
get
true. A
some,
million percent. That is
not,
absolutely true. Bot farm. This is bot farmed in Malaysia somewhere. Like, yes, this is not true.
yeah, yeah. And if you can kind of actually like, you could figure it out like, by looking at their
Sure.
profiles and seeing how many reviews they left, if they're real or not. Not that I don't know what you would do with that information. But and not that you would encourage negative reviews just because of what I just said. But don't be alarmed or distraught if you do have a negative review. The most important thing you can do is respond to it with your side, not being like, you still have to be professional and explain the situation, but you 100% want to respond, right? And if it was your
100%.
fault, then take ownership of it. But
And Philip, I've heard this. Like, you can even contest it, right? If you feel it's illegitimate or not, was never actually a client? Or is there like a, I've heard that there's a, you can kind of contest and ask them to be removed. Is that a real thing, or is that like an urban legend?
You can. It's just most of them will get denied from our experience.
Got it.
But
Got it.
yeah, you can. And then of
Dispute it. I
course,
think it's the dispute. Sorry, the word I was looking for was dispute.
yeah. No, you can. There is a process for it. I think usually it's report review here. You can get
Got
other
it.
people to report it as well. It just doesn't necessarily mean it will get
Got it.
removed. It's best to respond to it and be like, hey, like, I don't know who you are. Like, I've never worked with you. I don't have you in our records. If you have a complaint, just email me. Um, blah, blah, blah. So that people, when they read it, they're like, okay, this is just a fake review. Um, but but yeah, you want to respond to every review, negative or positive. That's one of the things that Google recommends. So you want to acknowledge it. And obviously, reviews is a big part of it. It's not just the quantity of the review, it's also consistency. So if you get 100 reviews one day and then you don't get a review for a year, that's probably not as good as getting like 10 reviews a month. I do understand can be hard to get reviews, right? Especially if you're not
Oh yeah.
working with a lot of people. And this is kind of like take it like some people have different thoughts about this regarding reviews from like other professionals that you've worked with or that you've helped but maybe aren't a client, right?
Yeah.
So I
And
know
and
people
I,
are like, no.
I've heard, this is a debate, right? This is a huge debate, especially in the marketing community. Oh, what do you do? I'll admit it. I've been members of I think it was a LinkedIn group and a Facebook group of other marketers or other real estate agents
Past
who were like,
reviews.
let's all review each other. And this was years ago, and I thought it was a good idea at the time until I heard this is true or not. That Google catches on to those things, right? That's the if you wear that black cap, but that one is different than people you know. That's people you don't even know or
Yeah, that's
barely
complete
know.
black hat.
Yeah, that's it's doing it the wrong way. It's not the way it should be done. That's one end of the spectrum of basically fake reviews. The other one that I think is a little bit more middle of the ground that I would 100 if I were an agent right now, I'd do 100% is every single person I know, I'd ask them to drop a review for me. Like review
Yeah, so those
me.
are called like character reviews,
Character reviews.
right?
Yeah, there we go. Oh, is that a
So
thing? Or is that something? Is that like I think Google considers, or is that something different?
no, it's not. Google would consider
Okay, okay,
Google would just say like get customers.
okay, gotcha.
That's the truest review. But then other people will be like, well, I don't have any customers. How can I get reviews? And they're like, hey, why don't you do like a kind of like what I said, like a character review, right? So like maybe I work with a lender and he can review me because we've worked together in a professional setting.
Got it.
Like you said, friends is kind of how a lot of people would start because they know you. And you could even do like if you were to, like maybe you do webinars, like a free webinar or a free class that you've taught, you could ask other people like, hey, if you had a good experience, leave me a review in a kind of like an exchange. But
Love it. I had one of my clients, who will remain nameless. She had her son. Let me so very popular, mom at school. Her kid is also well known in the class and in the school. Her son got, I think, 100 of his classmates to leave a review because they just like him and like his mom. And he asked for a favor. Hey, you like my mom's a real estate agent. Help us out. Drop a 5-star review and tell them how awesome she is as a person and supports the school. So a well-known agent, right? Like a a patron of the school got her son got 100 people to leave her a review, like a 5-star review because of the relationship. And I thought that was, I don't know if that's above or below the line. I don't know, depends how strict
I
you want to be
mean,
about it. It's an extreme version of character review, but that's something that happens. That's a real story. Like if someone just going nuts on it, and trying to find anyone, if they don't have a bunch of transactions, how do you get someone to leave a review for
that's
you? And if Google is listening to this, I don't condone that. That's a real story though. That's something that happened.
yeah. And the thing is, too, I don't think I've never heard of Google suspending someone for it. So I think the worst thing that can happen is it gets removed.
Yeah, gotcha. Oh,
Again,
if
I'm
it's
never,
review bombing, like they're all happening on like that would be suspicious. If they all happen the same
yeah.
day or
Again, I
something like
don't.
that, I'm sure they would think that's fishy, right?
For sure, for sure. And you never know, like things could change and maybe people have been suspended or it impacted their rankings for whatever reason. Like obviously we don't know
Yes.
all of what happens and what goes into this algorithm, but we all know that reviews are important, not just for
Yes. They're huge.
improving your ranking, but then also when people go and see you and if you have legitimate reviews. That's why again I would steer more towards clients and then potentially character reviews.
And
I
Philip,
wouldn't buy.
I mean, we've talked about the photos and the reviews, and those are the obvious ones. Which are the ones that agents are missed typically? Like the ones agents you said, make sure the profile is complete. I know a lot of agents that have pictures, they've got their hours, their address, their phone number, and reviews, and that's it. A lot of real estate profiles are that way. What are they missing, right? What are they missing? And what
Yeah.
else should they be putting on there?
So there is other things that they can do that they may not think of doing. And I'm just trying to bring it up. It's not showing up. Here it is. So okay. This is kind of the thing I was going for. This actually reminds me of another gray hat thing that people do. And there's different schools of thought with this. But I'm in Toronto or close to Toronto. And if you go Toronto real estate agent, you'll notice that they have the keyword in the title, Toronto real estate agent team, Toronto real estate
Oh,
agent.
actually,
And
that's
these,
because I thought so I've seen some people put their team name on their business listing. Some people put their personal name and their company name. So I mean, should you like keyword bomb that? I mean, sorry, keyword stuff it, or what do you think? What's been your experience with that? Useful, not
um,
useful, or what do you think?
yeah. Again, it's like something that technically it's like you should have your proper name in there.
Mm.
So like this is a pretty proper name. Like your first name, then realtor. But I mean, it's apparent that people have it in
Oh,
there and they are still existing
got it.
in there. And like, I mean, the top four all have this keyword in there. Yes, they
Interesting.
do have a lot of reviews as well, but still, so does
Yeah,
this team. But they're
the
so it's
broad team.
like
Huh? Hmm.
technically you should have like a DBA, like a doing business as, so that it's like legal and above board.
Got it.
But you do you. Um,
Got it.
but it's just something that I like to mention.
Interesting.
Um,
Interesting. And what else does Donna do well? What would you say? What else would you
yeah,
call
so
out?
another thing that people don't always take advantage of, and again, it's not like this particular thing will move the needle, but it's like a combination of these things, and then it also builds it out. So these products. So typically people see these for like e-commerce, right? Where you can upload products, but you can actually upload them as like more services. So you can have a like if you have a guide or if you have homes for sale or free home valuation, and then in there you can describe it. You have a link to your website,
Hmm,
so it adds an extra link, and then it just
nice.
further fills out that information or that profile and just makes it look more complete. These profiles, they used to be where Google would have to crawl it and then auto add it. Now there's a place where you can custom add it.
Nice.
You can also do videos here in photos, so it doesn't only have to be a photo.
Hmm,
It can be a video as well. I believe it has to be under 30 seconds, but that can be
nice.
another thing. Q&A, again, this is kind of the thing that most people do, but you can actually ask yourself questions or get other people to
No
ask you
way.
questions
I
so that you
love
can
that.
fill it out and make it more complete.
Gotcha.
Is another good one. So
So
technically,
is products and services the same thing? Is it the same section of that
no,
profile?
service is
I've seen
something
the word.
different.
Where does
Which
services come into play?
so those more on mobile that I'm not seeing
I
them on
got you.
here, but services again, it's where yeah, it's slightly different, but it's kind of the idea. I don't think you can add imagery to it from my last time I checked, but just same thing. You kind of want to fill it out as much as possible with all the different things that you provide. And then obviously these posts, which hasn't
Yeah,
been done
what
for
are
a
those?
while, but keeping those fairly consistent. Similar to your photos, right? You don't necessarily need to post just for the sake of posting, but you should have plenty to
Got
post about, right? You can post
got it,
about
got it,
blogs,
got it.
events, listings, all this kind of information. One other thing that people don't often think about is this link here, which then goes to, so what page is it going to? And does that page try to target the keyword that you are trying to rank for? So obviously for this one, she's in Madison, so Madison real estate agent. So then this page should have that. So as your H1 written in the description, and then it should be
Got
two in your meta title, meta description. A lot of people just do the homepage, which can work, but well, unless the homepage, again, it should be optimized for what this page is ranking for. And if it kind of makes sense too that it would go to an about page because they want to learn about you, right? Particularly for a
it,
real estate agent. So then if it goes to an about page, it does make sense.
got it, got it. And you know, in this example, Donna, I mean, has a really well made profile. But I noticed not a ton of if you look at some of the Toronto agents that are in the hundreds, and she's got 27 Google reviews. Is she seeing some success with this, or is she just in a smaller market where
Yeah,
27 does
much
pretty
smaller
well?
market.
Got it, got it,
Like
got it, got
Toronto
it.
obviously is several
Yeah,
million, so
yeah.
you're
In the
competing with a lot of people,
millions,
whereas
millions
this
and millions.
one is yeah, like 17, 40, 48, right? So this is not a high number
Gotcha.
of reviews.
So that's I mean, because that matters a lot. It's not just getting a ton of reviews, is where are you in that ranking, right? Like where are you compared to the competition? I think it matters a ton.
Yeah, yeah, and you definitely want to see what the competition is doing. So if they have a certain amount of reviews, you kind of want to do equal, or if not more, obviously more. Um, or just yeah, I mean, looking at what are they doing on their profile that potentially that you're not. And again, it's not only what's on this profile. A lot of it has to do with that website as well. It has to do with history, like how long it's been around. Really, what Google has also said is with the latest, it got a lot of their information was hacked, or not hacked, was leaked, right? So a big thing was overall brand, not just not just your website, not just your Google business
Oh, so
profile, but like
I guess I must have missed that. So tell me, so some internal Google discussions were leaked, like
yeah, some
Google.
information got
Huh.
leaked regarding Google and how their algorithm, right?
Interesting. I didn't know about that. Cool.
But a lot of the information in one of the key findings, or it's not even something new, but it's like Google takes in consideration just a brand in general, right? So it's like, what are you doing on your website? What are you doing on social media? What are you doing with local directories? Your NAP?
Hmm.
Are people organically just typing in your name, kind of like what they do with you, right? And then
Yeah.
finding you. So like it's a whole brand play versus just focusing on one particular thing, right? So that's the same thing with websites. Like your backlink profile and your domain authority can then influence your Google business profile as well as other your website SEO.
Interesting. So it's like
It's just
another facet of that SEO, network or grouping of things. It's not in isolation, and that makes sense because Google doesn't
very little
consider it to be
thing
in
few
isolation,
things
right?
are, right? It
Yeah,
all
yeah.
plays together.
I love it. I love it. 100%. Because, for me personally, because I've got my YouTube channel, our website ranks pretty decently for keywords in our niche. And, and I've seen those things work in conjunction, right? It's not isolation because a lot of them are Google properties like YouTube and search is pretty straightforward. YouTube is the visual search, right? As a video search, it's the second most popular search engine in the world, and they show up on as Google results, right? YouTube videos, specific YouTube videos. So I seen that be very powerful because that's why I've made I don't know at this point like maybe almost 100 videos on the different keywords that I want to rank for, and again and
Yeah,
again
it's
and
social
again. I
signals,
just
right?
do one, yeah, 100%. All those things, showing up, lighting up, can just give number one, it gives the algorithm the signal that I know about these topics and I create original content around them and I want to rank for them, right? and that I'm an authority. I'm not want to rank. That I'm an authority on some of these topics, on some of these
Right.
keywords.
Yeah. Local authority.
Consider, yeah, look at me, right? When people are asking about these things.
Yeah, yeah, it helps that YouTube is also a Google product, but like
Yeah,
it all comes in, it all plays a factor. So that's why like you try to make it like a holistic approach versus just focusing in on one specific thing while ignoring all of the rest.
yeah, yeah, 100%. So Philip, what I mean, what are some myths, some mistakes? How would you say like things not to do, right? Or things like things people have failed to do or don't do when it comes to Google Business Profile? And the business profile itself, maybe you want to talk about the ads. What do people, get wrong about these things, or what are some misunderstandings people have about Google Business Profile?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a lot that people do wrong per se. I think they don't do right. I think it's just the lack of
It's just
filling.
not completing it, not filling it out, like not using it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just taking action and like it's like a lot of people they just are not they don't get reviews and they think the profile will rank, right? Where it's like you kind of need that component of it. Like I know it can be a
Yeah,
hassle, but it's very very important. I think it's just the lack of really investing the time or energy or yeah or whatever into really filling it out and then being consistent with it. And then again, because it's organic, right? It takes time.
yeah,
It's not like pay per
not
click where you put up
immediate.
an ad and it's up there within an hour and you can start getting clicks and traffic. It's like it can be a bit of a grind at the start, but that can be like a pro or con, right? Because a pro being that a lot of people will they're not going to spend the time to do it.
Got it. Got it. I,
So
I totally understand that.
right? So it's like if you're one of those people that are like, okay, I'm going to do this. It doesn't take that long, um, and you can invest the energy. Eventually, you will start getting those clicks and calls, and it can bear a lot of fruit. It shouldn't be your only. Like, I don't think this would be your only strategy. I think you would
Yeah,
be
for sure.
so that's the thing, right? Like this is a great complement to like pay per click or Facebook ads, right? Something you can scale, something where it's like I'm getting 50, 100 leads a month and it's predictable. I can raise the budget, but then there's these organic things where I'm getting these really high quality leads from. That's like your Google business. That's your website. That's maybe some of the organic social media postings you're doing or YouTube, that kind of stuff. Like it's in combination but you need that one piece that's going to give you that the
I
lead
love
flow
it.
month in, month out. So it's not like you're just sitting, waiting at home, working on your Google business profile and being like,
Where are the
why isn't
leads?
that one
I did
calling me?
everything Philip said. What's going on? No, I think that's true. And we have a few minutes left. Let's talk about because there's also ads related to this product, right? Local service ads,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Tell us the quick how does one relate to the other? Because in the examples you just showed, the first three showed sponsored. Though I'm assuming those are the local service ads, right?
Yeah, yeah. So these are not these are sponsored ads. So this is actually in Canada, which we don't have local service ads
Oh,
where
that's
for
true.
real
You're
estate
right. You're
agents.
right.
Yeah, yeah. So in
Absolutely.
America they do, Canada we don't. So in order to run these, which tons of people ask, there's not actually a way to specifically run these on Google Business. Like I couldn't tell Google I only want to run Google Business profile ads. I wish there was,
Got it.
not possible. What you have to do is you have to target this keyword within Google and then add a location extension to it so that it has the chance. You also have to connect your Google Business profile. Um, it has the chance of showing up when someone goes to the map pack, or else what's going to happen,
Gotcha.
it's going to show up as a search ad, which is not showing up for me now. If I go maybe a little bit lower, no. Um, it'll also show up as a search ad though in most cases.
Got it.
Um, so you need a decent landing page too, right? Because
Of
it's going to
course.
show up here and that's going to convert people. And then you also like it is a little bit cost per click can range, can be 5, 10, 15, $20. So you need a decent
Got
budget
it.
if you're going to go after real estate agent terms. And
Yeah, yeah,
then
those are actionable. Those are
super
pricey.
actionable, so they're going to be higher cost, quicker sales cycle. And then of course in the States you're competing with local service ads. So then
Yeah,
they see local service ads, then search ads, then Google Business Profile.
I
So
gotcha. And in that hierarchy, specifically the ad products? So you've got the typical, search ads, pay per click, and you've got the local service ads. How would you compare the two? What's the difference? If I'm kind of a lay person, I'm getting into this. How should I view those? Is it the same? Is it the same cost? Is it the same quality? Is it a complement? You should be running Google pay per click and running some of those local service ads and obviously optimizing your Google business profile. How do you look at that? How do you look at all those different pieces? How do they relate to each other? And how would you like rank them somehow?
most important or highest impact. So technically the local service ads and the Google Business Profile should be very, very similar leads in terms of quality, right? It's the exact
Love
same
it.
search term. Um, and then you have the search ad. So like Google Business would be the best because you're not paying per lead and it's the same quality as LSA, right? So if you can get those above anything
Those are
else,
the organic, really good leads. It's the panacea. Like those are the best. Okay.
yeah,
Number
that's the
one.
best. Um, Second would be LSA, in my opinion, because it's a pay per lead program. So it's local service ads. You only pay per lead, 40, $50, could be more. Um, but should be again that high quality. And then the search ads, text ads, those I would put as third. They are, you need a really good landing page to convince them to sign up or become a lead or call you or whatnot. Those are tough ads. You're going to spend a lot to get a lead, a lot more than LSA, I would say. Because LSA, again, they can click on your profile tons of times, but then
It's
not,
right there.
it's not going to cost you anything. Whereas if people click on your search ad, it's going to cost you regardless if you become a lead or not. So that's
I love
why
it.
we don't do a lot of those. We haven't seen a lot of success from a text search based ad. That we generally, that's where like the buyer leads come in, right? Where people are looking homes for
Got it.
sale,
Yeah.
way lower cost per lead, can also get a listing from. We have that lead capture bait, right? Where we're showing homes that they might be interested in. We've had a lot more success with that campaign, way more success than going after real estate agent near me type
I
keywords.
got you. Yeah, yeah, 100%, 100%. Yeah,
It can
and
be
I was just,
done for sure, but
yeah, yeah,
you need
because
a
the
huge
best
budget, I would say,
the
like
best type of
several
ad is that
thousands.
homes more yeah that the homes angle the homes ad angle versus because LSA and Google Business Profile is about like more actionable keyword 100%. So I think those are great. I've also
Also,
heard, tell me if this is true.
yeah,
Okay, question. So that the the Google Business Profile obviously is organic. Those are the best and amazing. LSA is kind of ads, the same kind of listing powered by ads. But I've heard that those are hard to scale. Like you said, they're pay per lead, but
yeah.
there's a reason they're pay per lead. Because they can't just sell you some of the views or the clicks necessarily. It's because the people that I've seen doing it at the highest level are maybe getting maybe like two or three a week at the highest level, and then they're amazing. I mean, then they dominate the market. They have a really good situation, or maybe getting two or three a week of those at the higher. Is that something would you agree with that? Are those kind of they kind of level out at a certain point? What have you seen in practice from the local service ads?
Yeah. And this is what they
Ah, there
look
we
like in
go.
case
Yeah.
anybody doesn't know. This is actually, or talk about organic. This is one of our blogs that we did about it several years
Cool.
ago.
Cool.
Um, yeah, here it is again. So yeah, it's the challenge with these local service ads and even Google Business is the volume, search volume of the keyword is relatively low compared to some other things like homes for sale, right? Everybody is going to look up homes for sale because that's fun and that's usually at the beginning of the stage or somewhere in the middle. So there's just a ton of volume, and that's why you can scale it because the volume can support it. Whereas with local service ads in Google Business, or local service ads in particular, you don't have as much volume, especially for smaller cities.
Right.
So there's just so many, there's not that many leads to go around. And also, it's like, because it's a pay per lead program and it's very easy to set up, like everybody has a profile.
Got it.
So you have so many agents going after not that many leads, makes it difficult. Again, I would like 100% do it unless you've had a terrible experience with like spam calls and stuff like that. I've heard that happen before, but like I don't see, other than that, there's not a lot of risk in it.
Love it.
So definitely do it, but it's just got to be in combination with other things.
Got it.
These
Got it.
are
Got
the
it. Awesome.
text-based ads that you would see for the search ads.
Cool. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Philip, well, we're pretty much out of time. I wanted to thank you again for jumping back on here. And for those that are interested in the special offer, so Philip has been gracious enough to jump in here and give us a ton of value for the audience. And you're offering some absolutely free, like personalized audits, right? Like personalized audits for I think it's 5 people. We talked about like 5 people
Yes.
from this audience, right?
Yeah, so we will do we'll put a local ranking report, so see how you compare to other people within your market, and then we will take a custom video going over your profile, specifically pointing out opportunities to improve.
I love that. I love that. So, a kind of a Google, audit for your Google presence. I think that's super valuable. I think most agents know they can probably do better, and they don't have the eye. They don't have the trained eye to go in there and see, because I have made Google business profiles. I don't have one right now, but I've done them, and you think they're your baby. Oh, this is the most amazing thing ever. Like, maybe, maybe not. I think having another set of eyes to take a look at it and make some specific suggestions, I think is huge, can be very valuable. So, folks, I'm going to drop a message below here in the post so you guys can, reach out to Philip directly. Here on this, like through Facebook is the best way, right, Philip?
Yeah, you can feel free to DM me. Obviously, you can just look up my name, Asterisk Marketing, Philip Pasma, should show up there, and you can send me a DM. I
Okay.
will certainly respond.
Okay, sounds great. So we have 5 of those available. Please reach out to Philip so he can help you out with those. And Philip, once again, thank you so much. Appreciate you making the time and
Yeah,
adding
thanks
some
for having
value to
me.
the community today. Awesome.
Really enjoy it.
All right, thanks. And I'll see you on the next one. We'll have to come up for the topic for
Yes,
another one. Because I know
lots to
there's
talk about.
always something interesting, going on in the world of marketing. I know you're a real great expert when it comes to Google pay-per-click or business profiles or Google SEO. You're one of the guys that I love recommending people talk to. So
I appreciate
thanks so much
that.
for jumping in.